of things. I mean, you just can't let that go, is what I'm saying.
I agree.
And the idea, and the ones that you're talking about at the far small end of this, they didn't get any time anyway, or they got, 2 weeks or a month or whatever it might be. So anyway, I think we still have to have, as I mentioned earlier, a rule of law, and we've got to follow it. It's not perfect. It does make mistakes, but it's a lot better than most places.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with the next big event and what we can blame it on, pin it on, or tie it to. Brad Garrett, I got to run. Always a pleasure talking to you. We'll do it again.
Sounds great. See ya. Take care, Mike.
You bet. All right, it's just about 8:20. Close enough anyway. We could get to some traffic. Chuck has all the traffic in the world.
Yes, I do.
Hasn't been the worst morning.
No, until the last 20 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Fill us in.
From the UC Health Traffic Center at UC Health, you'll find comprehensive care that's so personal it makes your best tomorrow possible. That's boundless care for better outcomes. Expect more at uchealth.com. Wreck number 2 of the morning, inbound 74 at Beekman. They're in the center lane. Traffic was clearing out from above Montana, now backing up once again to North Bend. Southbound 75, slow go out of Evendale down to the lateral. Northbound 75, crews are working with an accident before you get to the lateral. Eastbound Reagan is blocked off between Blue Ash Kenwood and 71 due to an accident. And southbound 71, a wreck on the left shoulder just below Fields Erdel. A rollover with injuries on Tylersville at Butler Warren. Chuck Ingram, News Radio 700 WLW.
All right, great outdoors. Going to be a cloudy day. Got some flurries around in the afternoon. They were calling for a dusting before. Maybe that's gone away. But anyway, we'll top out at 31 for your high today, 31. Overnight gets kind of cold, down to 9. Tomorrow, it's going to be 25 with sunshine. Then we get better after that. Some clouds over the weekend, but we'll be in the low 40s. And pretty much in the low 40s through all of next week. So the ridiculous below zero stuff for now is gone by the wayside. And the present temperature went away, of course. Well, it was about 20 the last time I checked. At 700 WLW.
Let's talk about Scott Sloan. When do you listen?
I love listening to Sloaney while I'm riding my horse.
How does your horse feel about that?
My horse loves Sloaney's sense of humor.
How about that?
My dog likes Sloaney's common sense.
I got gerbils who love the way Sloaney is down to earth.
All right.
My parakeet loves the way Sloaney speaks his mind.
I guess any time is the right time for Sloaney.
Sloaney makes my schnauzer happy. He'll make yours happy, too.
Scott Sloan, this morning at 9 on 700 WLW. And check out his podcast on the free iHeartRadio app.
If you run a business, you have your challenges on a daily basis. One of them could be, new competitors come along from time to time. And that's just a fundamental aspect of business, of course. But it's important to your long-term growth. You have to have strategies to keep hold of your existing clients and get new ones, regardless of what your rivals are doing. But mainly, just keep an eye on your competitors. But equally crucial is keeping the ones you have, keeping your customers happy. You want satisfied customers. You want to satisfy their expectations. That's important. Good news is your business is growing. Now, if you get to the point where you've outgrown your finance and accounting software, still doing manual work in spreadsheets or whatever, do what 41,000 businesses have done and upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is your AI-powered business management system. It's all in one convenient suite as unites financing and accounting and inventory and HR. It's for a smarter, faster business. Very helpful. With one source of truth, every department is working from the same numbers, and with AI embedded throughout, you're automating manual tasks and getting fast insights on your next move as well. Get the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/WLW. netsuite.com/WLW. One more time. That's netsuite.com/WLW.
The recent wildfires that ravaged Los Angeles now account for one of the largest disasters in the history of our country. Now, iHeartRadio is bringing you an historic fundraising event.
The Fire Aid Benefit Concert.
Live in Los Angeles.
Donate today at fireaidla.org.
Join us January 30th.
Listen live to the Hit Nation station on the free iHeartRadio app, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. Eastern.
and show your support for the people in need in Los Angeles.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Hey, it's Bobby Bones. Join me and former NFL quarterback Matt Castle for our new podcast, Lots to Say with Bobby Bones and Matt Castle. Between us, we have over 17,500 passing yards, multiple New York Times bestsellers, and one Mirrorball trophy from Dancing with the Stars. So where else are you going to find a show with that much athleticism and football insight? Listen to Lots to Say with Bobby Bones and Matt Castle on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Open your free iHeart app and search Lots to Say with Bobby Bones and Matt Castle and start listening.
Hi, Kevin St. Clair here with my wife, Alyssa St. Clair.
After 3 generations, we're proud to say that we are over 70 years strong.
We're just one big family, so give us a call and let us show you why we are your home's trusted problem solvers.
Ray St. Clair Roofing.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
Tri-State Ford buyers, shake the cold weather with a hot new deal on a brand new Ford from #1 Mike Kestercy Ford in Milford or Alexandria. Take as much as $14,000 off the sticker price of a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 or 2024 Ford Expedition. 2 convenient locations, Mike Kestercy Ford Lincoln of Alexandria or Mike Kestercy Ford located in Milford. Tri-State Ford buyers, shake the cold weather with a hot new deal on a brand new Ford from Mike Kestercy Ford in Milford or Alexandria. Take as much as $6,000 off a 2024 Ford Bronco Sport or up to $7,000 off the sticker price a 2024 Ford Escape. 2 convenient locations. That's Mike Kestercy Ford Lincoln of Alexandria or Mike Kestercy Ford located in Milford.
All right, it's 827, 700 WLW. Mike McConnell here till 9 o'clock, and Sloan will be in, and we'll let you know what he's doing here in a minute. We have a couple calls we want to work into, as many as we can. Larry, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey, okay today. Hey, I'd like to know what would satisfy some of these, the people, do they want life in prison or the death penalty, or what is going to make them satisfied? I see where a cop murderer was pardoned lately too, and I understand they're not happy about that, but just exactly what do they want? I'll take your response off the air.
All right. Well, I'm not them, but I would assume they want whatever they were sentenced to in the first place. And if you were sentenced to 7 years or 4 years or 5 years and you got out in 2 or whatever, they'd want you doing your 4 or 5 or 7 years, whatever you were. Nobody's calling for additional incarceration, but no, that's what they would probably expect. Yeah, Bill and Harrison, what's going on?
Good morning.
Morning.
Yesterday on Mr. Cunningham's show, he had a January 6er on and described many of the abysmal conditions that he was being held in, even though he had been there and not even received the courtesy of a trial, which under the Constitution he's allowed to have. Having corrections officers open up his cell door and spray him in the face with mace just because he was sitting there. Now, we also had a president who released terrorists recently.
Let's get to your point quickly. I'm coming up on news. What?
Well,
he said a guard maced him for no reason. I don't know why he would, but okay, that's his story. What else?
Well, he also violated their constitutional rights to a trial.
He said himself his appealing to the Supreme Court held that up. He said that was in part his own doing. What else?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it, young man. You have a blessed day.
All right, do the same. See you. 8:30 news time. Right back.
News, traffic, and weather. News Radio 700 WLW, Cincinnati.
Continuing to face backlash with the 8:30 report. I'm Rick Ucchino. Breaking now.
I love him, and I wanted him to get help in prison, but the only thing he's got is more radicalized.
That's 22-year-old Jackson Raffet from Texas, who turned his father into the FBI and was a key part in getting him locked up for his role in the Capitol attack on January the 6th. He told ABC News that he worries what his father will do next now that President Donald Trump has set him and others free.
He does not need more contact with these far-right extreme militias that are going to validate him. He needs help, and this pardon is not going to help him. This is going to validate him and justify every action that he has taken leading up to this point.
President Donald Trump continues to receive backlash for his decision to issue sweeping pardons for some 1,500 people convicted in the Capitol riots, including those who assaulted police officers, like Daniel Hodges.
I was beaten, crushed, kicked, punched, surrounded. Someone reached underneath my visor, tried to gouge out my eye. And all these people were just pardoned by Donald Trump, who says that they were the real victims, that they were the patriots. I don't understand how anyone can believe that.
The head of the Cincinnati FOP among those coming out against the president's decision. Ken Kober will be joining our Scott Sloan coming up at 10:07 this morning. Donald Trump, meantime, standing by his actions. He says it would have been too cumbersome to go through all of the cases one at a time before issuing those pardons. Let's check the latest traffic and weather together.
From the UC Health Traffic Center at UC Health, you'll find comprehensive care that's so personal it makes your best tomorrow possible. That's boundless care for better outcomes. Expect more at uchealth.com. Crews continue to work with an accident inbound 74 before you got to 75. Right side's blocked off. Traffic backs up close to North Bend. You're over a 20-minute delay and growing. Eastbound Reagan Highway blocked off between Blue Ash and 71 due to a wreck. Northbound 75, a wreck on the left-hand side above Mitchell adds to heavy traffic towards Town Street. And there's a rollover wreck with injuries on Tylersville at Butler Warren. Chuck Ingram, News Radio 700 WLW.
Now the latest forecast from the Train Heating and Cooling Weather Center on News Radio 700 WLW.
Temperatures are in the mid to upper teens this morning. What an improvement compared to yesterday morning, but let's be honest, it's still cold outside. We'll end up with highs today in the low 30s. The sky is going to be mostly cloudy, and we'll see some flurries out there, especially after 2 to 3 p.m. Tonight, fewer clouds, and the temperature drops to 9, and then tomorrow, a chilly day. Highs in the mid-20s with a mostly sunny sky. From your severe weather station, I'm 9 First Morning meteorologist Jennifer Ketchmark, News Radio 700 WLW.
It is 18 degrees right now. News, a service of AE Door and Window. President Donald Trump issued nearly 200 executive orders on his first day in office, one of which halted funding provided by the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which has now put the Brent Spence Bridge Corridor project in question. But state leaders say they are not concerned.
In November 2021, previous President Joe Biden signed the bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, giving Ohio and Kentucky over $1.5 billion for the corridor. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine stated that executive order was instead focused on Green New Deal, electric vehicle, and climate change subsidies. WLW's Matt Reese reached out to Matt Bruning, who replied, ODOT has no reason to believe the federal funding for the Brent Spence Bridge is in jeopardy. All work is progressing as planned on this vital corridor project. I'm Lee Mowen, News Radio 700 WLW.
Luke Combs and Taylor Swift have headlined Paycor Stadium in recent years, and today we're going to be finding out which major act will be playing at the home of the Bengals next. Hamilton County Commissioners, the football team, and representatives from Live Nation will announce a special concert at 11 this morning. We'll have that announcement covered for you. 2 people are dead after a head-on crash in Warren County. It happened last night on Ohio 63 near 741. Police say 19-year-old Tyler Desbarrios went left of center and struck a vehicle being driven by 33-year-old Kelly Hitchcock. Neither survived that accident. The road was shut down for several hours while police investigated what happened, but it has since been reopened. Our next update will be at 9 o'clock. I'm Rick Ucino, News Radio 700 WLW.
700 WLW Cincinnati. Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. 700 WLW, an iHeartRadio station.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. My Lowe's Rewards Week is coming, and it's kind of a big deal. Members, get ready for up to 40% off store-wide on hundreds of items. Join for free today. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms subject to change.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next 2 combined. So whatever your customers listen to, they'll hear your message. Plus, only iHeart can extend your message to audiences across broadcast radio. Think podcasting can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, radio, and podcasting. Call 844-844-iHeart to get started. That's 844-844-iHeart.
Cupid can't miss this year. Jewelry and roses. At James Free Jewelers, we have something rare. The area's greatest collection of natural diamonds. Reinvent your engagement story with James Free. Purchase any engagement ring over $750 and you'll receive a dozen roses delivered free, courtesy of the Flower Man. See store for details. Visit James Free at 9555 Main Street in Montgomery or online at jamesfree.com.
Dan Horde for Exercise and Leisure, where they have the ability to offer complimentary 3D design so you can see exactly what your home gym will look like. Cardio, free weights, and more with expert service after the sale. Visit exerciseandleisure.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Discover The Hive, East Coast Kitchen and Coffee Bar, where friends and family gather for delicious food and great coffee. Come try our bourbon-spiked French toast. Visit for breakfast or lunch at 480 Erlanger Road in Erlanger, Kentucky, or check us out at thehiveerlanger.com.
Do you want to literally hit the ground running for the new year, but joint pain is keeping you back? QC Kinetics can get you there. Eddie here. QC Kinetics can help you with no surgery and no downtime. QC uses the natural properties of your body to attack the root cause of the problems. Regenerative treatment that can give you lasting relief. You can say goodbye to shoulder, knee, hip, and back pain. It works. And best of all, you can use HSA and FSA money. You have nothing to lose. The first consultation's free. Get back to your best life in 2025. Call QC Kinetics now. This can change your life. 513-847-0019. Call for your free consultation now. QC Kinetics, 513-847-0019. 513-847-0019.
Bloomberg Market Minute, powered by First Financial Bank. Choose the bank that puts you first. Member FDIC. Visit bankatfirst.com. At First Financial Bank, we keep the focus on you, your business, and your employees. We understand that businesses are more than just assets and projections. Our team will get to know your goals and provide tailored solutions to help you achieve them. Whether you're expanding or optimizing your operations, we can help by offering the right mix of national lending expertise, local decision-making, and personalized service. Learn more at bankatfirst.com/business. The bank that makes you feel like number one. That's First. First Financial Bank. Member FDIC.
As the wildfires continue to impact Los Angeles, families are facing unimaginable loss. And when disaster strikes, we come together. That's why iHeart LA has teamed up to help support the Dream Center, a local LA organization working tirelessly to provide relief, from operating shelters to supplying essentials to those who've lost everything. So please, join us in supporting the Dream Center's efforts to help rebuild the lives of thousands who have been affected by these devastating fires. Visit dreamcenter.org today to donate. That's dreamcenter.org.
Money, money, money. Time to water your money bush with sprinkles of knowledge. This is the Bloomberg Money Minute on 700 WLW.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. If you're planning to finance a new car, get ready to pay up. Bloomberg analysts say it's getting to the point where only the rich can afford cars. Data from Edmunds shows that last year in the fourth quarter, almost 1 in 5 new vehicle buyers took on loans with monthly payments of $1,000 or more. That's a record high, and the loan terms have grown longer. They're stretched to almost 69 months. Amazon will shut down all warehouses and lay off about 1,900 employees in Quebec. The decision comes less than a year after workers at one of those facilities unionized. The union's president said there was no doubt the closures were part of an anti-union campaign. Amazon said its announcement was unrelated to the unionization effort. President Donald Trump will address the World Economic Forum at Davos today. He'll be appearing remotely, and stocks rose again yesterday. A rally in big tech provided a boost. Netflix shares surged after the company's blowout subscriber quarter. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, that's us, 8:41 in the morning, 700 WLW. And let's see. Top of the hour, Sloan is in. Derek Bolin is his guest. The question is, why is wealth looked at as evil? I don't think it is. I think it's just basic jealousy. I mean, people look at people with more money than them and assume they're having more fun than they are, and people hate the fact that somebody else could be having more fun than them. So I think some people also suffer from this notion that there's a finite amount of money out there, and if that guy's got a lot of it, he's got some of what could have been mine. Well, that's not how it works either. I mean, when Joe Burrow signed for $250 million, it didn't cost me a cent. Not a penny. Elon Musk, worth $11 billion or whatever it is, doesn't cost me anything. Nothing. Like I said before, it's like saying he's got 10 buckets of water out of the lake and I only have 2. Well, it's a lake. Feel free to go get more. If you want to. If you're happy with 2, you're happy with 2. Yeah. Drives me nuts. All right, so what's going on? I heard the guest on with Willie yesterday, and he claimed the police attacked him and whoever he was with, and didn't suggest the circumstances as to how that happened, because he was making the point that he wanted to use the self-defense defense in court, and that he could not do that. And I can see why. I mean, typically when the police are coming up, if you're in a riotous situation, it doesn't matter if it's celebrating a big college football game win. It doesn't matter if you're attacking the Capitol. They want you to leave. They want you to go that way, which is what I would always do. I would go that way. That's what they want. They want me to go that way. Now, if you choose to stay and fight, even if they went first, that's not self-defense. I mean, understand, we supply cops with things to hit you with. We supply them with things to shock you with because they're allowed to do that. We supply them with things to shoot you with, like Bang Dead. We give them all that stuff with permission under certain circumstances to hit people. If you choose to fight back, even if they went first because you wouldn't leave when they wanted you to leave, and I know some people hate looking at it that way, but we give police powers the average person doesn't have. I can't pull you off the street because I saw you do something wrong, throw you in the back of my car, and take you and lock you in my basement. Cops can do that. They can take you off the street, put you in the back of their car, take you downtown, put you in a cell, lock the door, and keep you there. There are things they're allowed to do the average person is not. So I don't know the circumstances under which he wanted to claim self-defense, but probably those cops wanted him to go that way, but he felt compelled to fight. You know, I don't have a whole lot of empathy for people in that situation. I really don't. I mean, he's got a book out there. Maybe it's in the book as to how it happened, but actually the book is on pre-order. He said it'll be out at some point in time, but I don't know. Meanwhile, some people hold on for a long time. Well, thank you for your patience. We'll work you in as we can. Yeah, Jim in North Carolina, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing today, Mike?
Doing all right. What you got?
Hey, good. Shout out to my brother Rick, who listens all the time. I just find, I just get so tired that Jan 6 was a disaster. I'm clear on that, and I don't agree with Trump pardoning everybody. Let me be clear on that. I thought that some should have been, but some shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But, when you talk to your guys on there, and he's talking about rule of law, I lived in Portland for 5 years during from 2017 to 23. I guess that's 6. But they had riots every night. There was no rule of law. They were arresting people and just letting them out the next day. I just love. It's just rule of law, rule of law, rule of law for one side. There's no rule of law on the other side. And I know that I'm exaggerating a smidge, but I get tired. And then my
rule of law just means everybody's held to the same standard. I mean, just because you have a lot of money or you're a senator or whatever, I mean, unless you're a diplomat, you can't get away with it.
Well, that's not true, though, Mike. I mean, with all the riots that went on through George Floyd, the rule of law wasn't applied equally in any of that. It just flat out wasn't.
Well, maybe they arrested them and got them out the next day awaiting their court date. That happens. But who are you saying was not arrested?
Oh, no, it was well known in Portland. It was a catch and release. They stopped arresting people, the police did, because they would just get put in the charges were all freaking dropped. So no, there was no rule of law through all of that. So as I said, I was up there.
Well, again, if the charges, if everybody was treated the same, arrested or not, that qualifies as following the rule of law. Now, if you're arresting some people and others doing the same thing are allowed to go scot-free, that flies in the face of the rule of law.
Well, yeah, but what's it? So you're talking specific instances. So during the riots, it was okay because everybody was being treated equally.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay that they weren't arrested. I'm just saying if they weren't selectively arresting, that doesn't fly in the face of the rule of law.
Okay, I get it. Hey, just wanted to get you out of here on this. But the last thing was, I got so tired. I don't remember 4 years ago or 5 years, 8 years ago, if during all of the inauguration things, they talked about the peaceful transfer of power. But I'll bet you I heard that line 42,000 times for this inauguration. And I don't ever recall hearing anything like that from the announcers prior to what happened on Jan 6. I just thought that was
that's
odd.
what brought it. That's what brought it to the fore. Obviously, that's what brings it to the fore. The non people trying to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
I'm clear on that. I know that happened 4 years ago, allegedly. But
what do you mean allegedly? You have a TV, don't you?
Well, no, Mike. I'm just saying. There were guys with pitchforks. It wasn't like they had gone. But I'm just saying that I don't believe in any of the other ones I ever heard peaceful transfer of power, and I just
there wasn't.
Kind of tired of hearing
that's
it.
Before there was a reason to. All right, Jim. Well, thank you very much. Good to have you out there. Thank you. And Anderson, Nick, go ahead. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. How many violent or assaults on police officers were there actually? Do we ever hear a number on that?
I don't know the number. I would say it's...
You don't know it. You know why you don't know it? Because there's very few. And the 1,500, most of them, if not almost 95% were people that supposedly trespassed and went in, and the book was thrown at them. They used every bit of video to grab all these people. And the treatment of that gentleman on Willie's show, if you've talked to the attorneys in this defending the Jan 6, that is the rule rather than the exception. And you're talking about D.C. with 94% Democrat voting, corrupt judges, very political in everything they do in that. They were tried in those courts with biased juries and Trump haters, and the treatment in that prison, if you've done any research on this, that guy on Willie's show, that's very the tip of the iceberg. And so 4 years later, he pardons these guys, and we've got a handful of so-called violent offenders, of which many were probably FBI informants, because we know about that. We know about the Ray Epps issue, but yeah, Mr. Brad Garrett there, he's really upset about this. That's a joke. That's an absolute joke.
I think the Epps thing is a joke.
How is it a joke?
He was not with the FBI. Just because people say so, they believe he must be. He must have been. He's just encouraging.
Why wasn't he charged?
He's encouraging people to do certain things, but he didn't do them.
Okay. Well, we know that there's 25 to 30 FBI informants, most of which, and what happened to the pipe bomb? There's just too many things like that. This was a political, they were political prisoners. They were essentially political prisoners. They were put in.
So it was like a trap they walked into? Was it like a trap they walked into, or what?
Yes. Have you seen, Brad Garrett says, I've seen the video. Have you seen the video of just the peaceful, the cops opening up the gate and just encouraging them to come in? And
I saw some cops do that. I saw a lot of cops trying to stop people from getting in. Just because a couple cops did let some people in over here doesn't mean the whole thing was a trap that was laid.
It wasn't a couple of cops. You're talking about selectively. You haven't seen the whole video then, clearly, because most of the video shows people kind of slowly walking through like it's a Capitol tour. You got grandmas being first-time offenders.
Yeah, but they weren't arrested. They were not arrested. Those people were not arrested.
They were arrested, Mike.
I watched them. I watched them walk back out like it was a tour. I watched it live. I thought it was people going in for a tour, and I saw them walk out. A couple holding hands, walking back out. They're done with their tour. They left. They didn't get arrested.
Yes, they did, Mike. Get an attorney for the January 6th and talk about how they weren't charged. They were held in prison without a trial for 12, 18, 24 months. Some of them still haven't heard it. Haven't gotten a trial. Talk about how they were treated in there. They were political prisoners. And Brad Garrett wants to focus on a few violent offenders. Yeah, I wish he didn't. That's why I asked you the original question. How many were there? And if you want to focus
I'm
on
looking it up right now,
20 or whatever violent offenders, yeah, I get that. But
you've got a lot more than 20. My God, those people crushing the cops? 20?
Then
these weren't individual acts of violence.
How many were there?
These were mob acts of violence.
How many were there? You don't know because it doesn't meet the narrative, because almost all of the 1,500 were just simply trespassing, and they're charged with an insurrection.
No, you had to be on video committing a crime other than trespass. That's why you got arrested.
You got 30 seconds of that video, and the rest of it is people walking through the Capitol.
I watched a whole day of it, and I don't know how many countless hours since then. I don't want to hear I saw 30 seconds of it. I spent an entire day watching that. All right, I'm up against the clock. I got to run. You're wrong. Thank you. Chuck stands by. Got to get to traffic there, Chucky.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I can do that.
All right, what's the big story?
The big story is how many wrecks they still have to deal with. They just cleared one. That's a positive note. Inbound 74, just before you get to 75. But unfortunately, the backup made it to North Bend once again. This from the UC Health Traffic Center. At UC Health, you'll find comprehensive care that's so personal it makes your best tomorrow possible. That's boundless care for better outcomes. Expect more at uchealth.com. Crews continue to work with an accident eastbound on the Reagan Highway that has it blocked off between Blue Ash Road and 71. Southbound 71, there's a wreck on the shoulder just after you get past Field Zertle. And they're cleaning up on Tylersville at Butler Warren from a rollover wreck. Chuck Ingram, News Radio 700 WLW.
All right, great outdoors, cloudy day. Got some flurries in the afternoon, topping out at 31. Overnight, some clouds, 9 tomorrow. Sun's out, but only 25, and then we get to the 40s on Saturday, and we're right around there for about a week. Much better. 22 now, 700 WLW.
Meanwhile, in the enchanted forest, the princess is attacked by a fire-breathing dragon.
Ow! This is gonna mess up my hair!
Our heroes, Eddie and Rocky, rush to save the princess.
I'll distract the dragon, and you cut off his head.
Screw that, you cut off his head.
Hey, you're taller.
But you're quicker.
You're stronger.
Give me the stupid sword! I'll cut off his head!
I think we've done our good deed.
Back to the radio show.
Absolutely.
Eddie and Rocky.
This afternoon at 3.
On 700 WLW.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Feels new, fresh. I like it.
I love my presets.
Presets are the best.
Join the millions already on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
It's just like my car radio on my phone.
Find your new favorite feature on the iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
All right, if you're in business, then the growth of your business, of course, is going to depend on increasing revenue by bringing in new business, new people, right? The inevitable consequence of that's going to mean you have a larger, more eclectic range of clients, all with their own unique needs, expectations, and you got to keep up with that, and that means collecting data. You need your data. You got to trust your data. And maybe you have a lot of data, and it's all over the place, making it hard to get the answers you need, if that's the case. Welcome, NetSuite by Oracle. What's that? Well, if in fact you're having problems like that, and you're outgrowing the systems you have right now, the NetSuite is your AI-powered business management system. In one convenient suite, it unites finance, accounting, and inventory, HR, all of those for a much faster business. And with everybody working from the same data, every department working from the same, then you have AI embedded throughout. You're automating manual tasks and getting fast insights on your next move. What do you do about this? You simply go get the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/WLW. netsuite.com/WLW. One more time. You go to netsuite.com/WLW.
Buy and service your Sprinter at Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell.
Don't get left in the cold. Now's the time to tune up your heating system with TempStar. Regular maintenance on your heating system stops breakdowns, increases efficiency, and improves comfort. Call Wyoming Air at 1-888-996-HVAC to schedule a tune-up. TempStar. Quality you can feel.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more of the good life to your life, so you can bring home more perfectly plump and flavorful produce picked for precise freshness, beautifully marbled beyond brag-worthy certified Angus beef, and more must-have money-saving M-Perks rewards. Because saving more on local favorites is good, but bringing home more of what you love in every trip, that's the good life. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. Winter weather can do a number on a home's exterior, whether it's snow, ice, wind, or just extreme cold. If winter weather wreaks havoc on your home's exterior, my friends at Madewell Restoration can help. Go to MadewellRestoration.com.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've also got lab-grown diamonds of the highest quality at prices way below what you'd see at other jewelers. We've also brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, things you can't find anywhere else. And of course, Genesis is proud to offer a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular models in stock. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2025 and let our non-commission experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces on Montgomery Road.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check Single Care to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live from the 700 WLW studios. Driven by Mike Castrucci Jeep in Fairfax. Now recognized as the largest volume Jeep dealer in Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. Mike Castrucci Jeep is the #1 Jeep dealer in the tri-state. That's Mike Castrucci Jeep in Fairfax.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
You're listening to 700 WLW. Also available on 94.5 FM W233BG Cincinnati.
Has every crime, this guy right here, count one, entering and remaining in a restricted building, obstructing official business during civil disorder, and aiding and abetting, entering restricted area or grounds and carrying a deadly or dangerous weapon was this guy. It's Ryan Ashcock, and pled guilty, 70 days in jail, a $500 fine. It will give you the name, what they were charged with, how they pled, and what they were sentenced to. And it's every single one of them, and you can find out for yourself how many were violent. I don't have that time right now. In fact, it's past 9 o'clock, and I got to go. But it'll be on the blog in a few minutes, so check it out there, 700WLW.com. Thank you very much. With that, I got to run. Sloan's next, but I'll be back in the morning. We'll talk to you then. It's news time at 700 WLW.
News, traffic, and weather. News Radio 700 WLW, Cincinnati.
Local police officers call it a kick in the gut. With a 9 o'clock report, I'm Brian Combs. Breaking now.
I can't imagine being these D.C. Metro officers that experienced this and had to live it, and then now only to find out that their assailants are walking free.
Tri-State cops say they feel betrayed by the man they backed for president. Donald Trump issuing pardons for all the Capitol rioters, including those who assaulted police officers as they stormed the Capitol building 4 years ago. On Fox News last night, the president defended his action in his first Oval Office interview. He sat down with Fox News' Sean Hannity.
You know how many people we're talking about? 1,500 people. Almost all of them this should not have happened. And the other thing is this, some of those people with the police, true, but they were very minor incidents, okay? You know, they get built up by a couple of fake guys that are on CNN all the time.
Nobody watches.
They were very minor incidents, and it was time.
Trump told Hannity it would have been very, very cumbersome to go through each individual case. Head of the Cincinnati Police Officers Union, who's been critical of the pardons, will be Scott Sloan's guest this morning, coming up at 10:07. Now, latest traffic and weather together.
From the UC Health Traffic Center at UC Health, you'll find comprehensive care that's so personal it makes your best tomorrow possible. That's boundless care for better outcomes. Expect more at UCHealth.com. Crews continue to work with a wreck that has eastbound Reagan Highway blocked off between Blue Ash and 71. Southbound 75 continues slow through Laughlin. 2 wrecks southbound 71, one just below Fields Erdel, and the latest is at Red Bank. Both are over on the left-hand side. Inbound 74 trying to recover from an earlier wreck near Beekman, slows from above Montana. Chuck Ingram, News Radio 700 WLW.
Now, the latest forecast from the No Fear Dentist Weather Center. Advanced Dentistry. The thought of the dentist making you a nervous wreck? We're here for you. NoFearDentist.com.
Cloudy day in the tri-state. A little warmer with a high today of 31. Cold again tonight, 9 for the low. Sunny, bit colder tomorrow with a high of 25, 22 degrees Right now at News Radio 700 WLW, their vehicles collided head-on in Warren County. 2 people killed in a late-night crash that happened not far from the prison.
The 2-vehicle crash happened around 9:30 Wednesday night on State Route 63 near the State Route 741 intersection in Warren County. Tyler Desperoy in a 2012 Mercedes S550 drove eastbound, then traveled left to center and struck Kelly Hitchcock in a 2009 Kia Sedona head-on. Both drivers succumbed to fatal injuries at the scene. Officers shut down State Route 63 between Union and McClure Roads for approximately 4 hours before reopening around 2 o'clock Thursday morning. So far, no causes have been announced as the Ohio State Highway Patrol Lebanon Post is leading the investigation. I'm Lee Mowen, News Radio 700 WLW.
City of Cincinnati vowing to keep homeless encampments out of city parks. Assistant Manager Virginia Talent telling people gathered at a meeting at Mount Washington last night. The city's hired another social worker for outreach efforts to get people who are camped in parks into permanent housing. Parks Department Director also tells the concerned citizens they're removing honeysuckle from Stanbury Park that provides cover for those encampments.
We're going to clear out about 10 to 15 acres of that, and we're targeting specifically the areas that are the closest to that Mount Washington sign to push back that kind of thicket that when it's in the summertime creates like a wall, and it's going to do a big kind of donut of area out by the shelter that's way down in the middle of the park. These are some of the areas we're seeing the most trouble with campsites.
Director says anyone who spots a homeless encampment should report it to 311. Selling Cincinnati at the Sundance Film Festival. Mayor Aftab Purval in Utah this week for the festival is looking at a possible move in the future to the tri-state. Cincinnati is one of 3 finalists to be named the future home. Last summer, it was Luke Combs. 2 years ago, Taylor Swift. Today, we'll find out who's doing a big stadium concert at Paycor this year. Hamilton County and the Bengals will make the announcement at 11. We will have it covered for you. There's talk that it could be Beyonce, maybe Coldplay or Billy Joel. Tiff Potter at KISS 107 says there's also speculation that it could be The Weeknd.
Who could sell out Paycor Stadium for 1 or maybe even 2 nights? A lot of pop acts booked arena tours last year, so there's not many left to go out, and speculation would have us believe that maybe Miley Cyrus or Lady Gaga could do a stadium, or maybe even someone from the rock world.
Potter says her gut right now is telling her it might be country star Morgan Wallen. We all find out together at 11. Nominations coming in for this year's Academy Awards. Up for Best Picture: Nora, Conclave, The Brutalists, A Complete Unknown, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, Dune Part 2, and Wicked. Oscars will be handed out Sunday, March 2nd. Our next update's at 9:30. I'm Brian Combs, News Radio 700 WLW.
This report is sponsored by Apollo Home, your source for plumbing, heating, and air, and electrical.
This is a weather warning. Weather happens like all the time. Look out your window. There's weather happening now. To ensure the comfort of your home, tune up your AC or furnace with Apollo Home for just $67. Choose local. Choose Apollo. ApolloHome.com.
This month, MVG's giving away a Mercedes with a $50,000 cash option. Earn entries all month. Drawings every Saturday in January for free play, cash, and finalists. A Mercedes or $50,000 in cash on January 25th at Miami Valley Gaming.
Must be 21. Ohio Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-589-9966, or visit org.ohio.gov. Ready to take a break? Visit timeoutohio.com.
It's doing the little things right and attention to quality to make us the right choice to work on your home. Not just covering your old shingles with new. The continued quality of our work is what you deserve.
Ray St. Clair Roofing.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9924. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9924. That's 800-575-9924. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel plus low to no monthly payments. Call 513-676-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 513-676-BATH.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Don't let a plumbing problem ruin your day. Halpin Plumbing is the locally owned residential plumbing specialist offering a wide range of services and repairs. Schedule today at halpinplumbing.com and get things flowing. Making it Halpin since 1951.
Hey you guys, I'm Catherine Legg. I'm a racing driver who's literally driven everything with four wheels across the planet. And I've got a new podcast. It's called Throttle Therapy. This season, I'm gearing up to make history, competing in some of the world's most notorious racing events. Listen to Throttle Therapy with Catherine Legg on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Throttle Therapy with Catherine Legg and start listening.
Presented by Elf Beauty, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Green. That's green. Enter it now.
Slowly on 700 WLW. You know, you can almost set your watch by this stuff every 4 years when the political parties change. You have people who are on the outside looking in, and the voices get louder for a lot of different things. You kind of heard a little bit about it. It's always been a topic, but wealth inequality is going to blow up over the next 4 years simply because you have a Republican in office. And when you have policies that just fuel the fire for people who are, socialist or simply think by existing they deserve X amount of dollars for just showing up. But we know America generally is built on merit. It's a meritocracy. Now, again, I'd say with an asterisk because some people are born on third base thinking they hit a triple when that is not the case. But I will say that as Republicans take over the halls of Congress, you'll hear more about wealth inequality. Well, and that money is inherently evil. And I get it because, let's face it, we have a generation who's shackled things like college debt and taking on the ability to own a house, to start a family, to buy a new car, all the things we kind of took for granted when we were younger ourselves. It's become a lot harder to do that. I appreciate that. But there is something to be said about hard work and showing up, and some things do indeed need to change. And you look at the distribution of wealth in this country, it is a problem if you don't have a burgeoning middle and lower class in order to buy the stuff that they manufacture. But to simply broad brush it and turn capitalism some sort of evil and something that has to be undone is absolutely silly. Derek Bullen is a expert in the area of wealth and how we look at this in America. And Derek, welcome back. And I think we're going to start to hear more loudly than we have in the past that wealth is a four-letter word. It's a swear. It's a curse word. It's an epithet.
I know the narrative's so commonplace. It's just shame porn, and it's all over on the rich, and none of it's correct. It's so highly incorrect. I thought I should get out there and just get the facts out for what they really are.
Well, when you say rich or wealthy, what is that even? Because it's such a general term. It's relative to where you are. If I make $12 an hour, the guy making $20 an hour is wealthy, right? And if you're making 20, the guy making 50 is wealthy. So it's all relative to who you are.
It's so true. It's so true. It actually is absolutely relative to who you are. So I grew up in a fairly poor working class neighborhood in Calgary. And even when we just moved up to just a slightly nicer neighborhood, all of a sudden we were rich, but I think for the mainstream, I think, and for the politicians, they always run it against the 1%, or they always run it against the billionaires. But even there, what they're saying is not true. It's tax time, right? And there will be about $1.6 billion in taxes collected by the IRS federally, and the top 1% will pay 40% of that amount. Like they're paying for almost 40% of the roads, schools, hospitals, everything. And the 1% is not enough to, vote in a politician or vote out a politician, but they are the golden goose that always gets squeezed. Nobody knows that. The bottom 57% of people that work last year will pay no federal income tax at all. So when I hear, President Biden saying pay your fair share, how much more than 40% of the burden carried by 1% of the population was he looking for? You know,
Right,
it's
right.
almost ludicrous when you look at the numbers.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is that, I know we'll get more on this in a second, but to me, the tax-rich plan, it doesn't stack up, because even if you survey the typical American, they'll tell you, it's like, look, I get it. There's going to be people to make more money, and we kind of need those people because it inspires the rest of us to work our butts off to get where they are. You're an entrepreneur. You started with nothing, and you employ some 3,000 people in the IT field right now. So we love that dream. Now, you're Canadian, but again, it's what we call here the American dream, right? That I at least have a chance.
Exactly.
If I a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work will get me where I want to be.
Exactly right, and you know, it is a lot of hard work. And these politicians like Sanders, they say, "Oh, as the rich get richer, they're doing it on the backs of everybody else." That's not true. As the rich get richer, everybody's getting more prosperous. You know, when President Johnson started the war on poverty in 1964, there were almost no billionaires in the United States, and poverty was 19.5% in the United States. Today, with the U.S. having the most billionaires in the world, full income poverty has dropped to 2.3%. And globally, poverty's fallen in half, and lifespans increased as we've gone from back in the 80s. Maybe there were 15 billionaires to today. There's almost 3,000 billionaires on the globe. The pie has gotten bigger. And I can give you lots of really good examples, Scott, of how the pie has gotten bigger and multiple people have benefited, not just the person making it.
Well, give me one good example that a dummy like me can understand, because I don't talk over my head now.
Okay.
I'm not wealthy like you.
No problem. So in 2020, the value of Amazon jumped by $580 billion. And everyone was like, or $570 billion. And everyone was like, Jeff Bezos' net worth just went up by $57 billion. Oh, the shame of it, the shame. And what they didn't realize is he owns 10% of Amazon. The only reason he owns it is because he founded it, created the company, and put in the work. But the other 90% of Amazon is owned by institutions. And it's owned by banks, it's owned by insurance companies, it's owned by unions, and it's owned by the government. And so what nobody talked about was the $500 billion, just over $500 billion, that those people made at the same time. That's the wealth Bezos created for them. And so anytime someone's getting a pension, say a teacher or a fireman's getting a pension in California, someone gets a new loan for a car, somebody gets a home insurance claim paid, there's Amazon wealth, a little bit of Amazon wealth in all of that. And so, you know, being the CEO of a company like that, you're putting on this great buffet for everyone to come and enjoy. You're buying the groceries, cooking it up. And only at the end, if you did a good job, is there a plate left for you. So that's one way. Every time Bezos makes $1, you've got to remember, he just made 9 for everybody else, like 9 for everybody else. And while he's doing that, he's paying out $46 billion in salaries every year. So $46 billion goes out to pay 1.6 million workers. It's like a small army. And while he's still doing that, he's paying out another $42 billion. $48 billion goes out for $46 billion goes out to employees. $42 billion is going out into research and development that is cutting edge. Amazon Web Services is one of the largest cloud computing companies on the planet. So that's a way that and it's like that for every entrepreneur. Elon Musk, Bezos, Bill Gates, they make the majority of the money for the people that before they make theirs.
Yeah, it's in this case, it's easy to pick a Jeff Bezos or a Bill Gates and point at them and go bad, evil. Look at all the money. Look at the wealth this guy has, homes all over the world and not for want, and people are starving. And yet, if you look at the people who are making money, basically riding his coattails, or I guess the way I would look at it is how many people, how many working folks and the like will put a bet on, I don't know, March Madness or the Super Bowl or the World Series, something along those lines, throw a little money out there, buy a lottery ticket. That's the way I look at stock options or buying stock, right? Is that if I buy some stock as opposed to a lottery ticket, I'm now investing that money back in the company, allowing them to invest in the things you mentioned and hopefully return to me a profit. And that's why you have winners and losers on Wall Street. But anyone now can get into the game. If you have a smartphone and $20 in your account, you could literally buy a small share, albeit a small share, but a small share of a company, or buy Apple when it's 28 cents as opposed to where it is today.
Mm-hmm. You could. I always tell my kids, if you can't budget, $1,000, you won't be able to budget $1 million. And it's like that. Most lottery winners, 70% of lottery winners are broken in debt 2 years after they win the lottery. And Bezos was successful with Amazon. But, the Dave Cook, who started Blockbuster, $5 billion in market cap down to zero in 5 years. Not everybody's successful running a business. And Bezos is one guy. I have as much respect for Bezos as I do for the guy running a store down on the corner with 3 employees. And they're both doing the same thing. They're both multiplying prosperity, in their communities.
Derek Bullen on the show this morning on 700 WLW. It's pretty daring, but he is talking about defending wealth. And that is that wealth is a good thing, not a bad thing, as we talk about executive pay and taxes and welfare and social programs and expanding government and taxing the rich and all of those things. The reality is we need wealthy people in America. One of the other elements of this, too, Derek, I'll point out is, you talked about people rising up because of people like Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or whomever. But the idea you're creating new device. Look at it this way, we have new technology out there that's just jaw dropping. For example, space travel. Elon Musk, and because of that, at some point, probably not in our lifetimes, but down the line, travel to space will become affordable for the average person, I think, anyway. But that's typically how it works, is the ultra wealthy buy these cool new developments and invest in technology and things we can only dream about, and then it becomes mass produced. Electric cars, look where they are now.
Sure. Electric cars, smartphones. And, they talk about Elon Musk as if all he's doing is taking people up to space. He's taking satellites up into space. So a lot of the telecommunications that you get is courtesy of Elon Musk, having a cheaper way to bring satellites in. When this terrible invasion of the Ukraine, it's actually Elon Musk moves satellites in front of them so they can have the free internet. And what's interesting, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they did not inherit their wealth. In fact, 2/3 of everyone in the Fortune 400 today in the United States made their wealth in their lifetime. 2/3 of those billionaires. And 80% of the millionaires and billionaires in the UK are self-made. So it's not like it's an entitlement. It's something people work for. And the people that work for it, they're like elite athletes. Like it takes a nation to build a Michael Jordan. It takes a nation to build a Jeff Bezos or a Bill Gates or a Dyson, the vacuum guy in the UK. And they are just like elite athletes. You have to work an insane amount of hours. And there's no guarantee that you're going to make it. And just like an injury can take an athlete out of the game for the rest of their life, if you get a fatal injury in business, there's no recovery. The business is just over. Just like I was saying earlier, like Blockbuster. Yeah. The business is just done. So these are special people, and they're making the pie bigger for everyone. They're paying most of the tax. They also, by the way, pay most of the charitable donations. In the United States, the average charitable donation, church payments, everything included, is about $570, and about half of Americans will donate something. And but if you look at total charity, $480 billion a year, 1/3 of that comes from the 1%, and 85% of bequests, which is different than giving in your lifetime. But bequest is when I die, what do I do with this money? Like Warren Buffett said, I'm going to give it all away. Bill Gates said, I'm going to give it all away, and they're well on their way to doing it. 85% of bequests come from the top 1% too. So it's not only very supportive of the tax system. Everyone's paying more than their fair share. They're very supportive when government can't or won't step in, and a nonprofit has to step in to do the work. So the government in California, France, the United States, Canada are all so dependent on the 1% paying taxes, and you pay more. The more money you make, the more taxes you make. All these governments are very, very dependent on the 1% coming in and paying taxes. I mean, that's 100,000 people in a state the size of California paying 1/3 of the state taxes this year. If they weren't there, the state would be totally screwed. If the 1% wasn't here, it would look a lot like socialism, and people would be like, "Where's the money for everything?" Well, the people who made it left. And it's a different 1% every generation because the majority of people make their millions or billions in their lifetime.
Yeah. And we're starting to see, and we're seeing that exodus. We're seeing that exodus from the top tier people from California. Is that, I think generosity lasts up till a point. One thing too to add about Europe and everyone else is, if you look at what we do in the U.S., it's interesting as you see now Russia at the wolf at the door, so to speak, like an existential threat like Russia is right now, is they'll always look to the United States to help bail them out. And I think there's an economic component to that too. Exactly what we're talking about right here is that if we continue to make everyone dependent on government, who's funding the government? Well, we're starting to see that in areas of Europe right now. And now they're looking and going, okay, well, we didn't see Russia coming at all. Who's going to bail us out? It's going to be the United States. And I think because of what you're talking about here, that's probably why.
Yeah, it's probably why. A good society. The United States is arguably the greatest country in the world. It's a third of the world economy. And you have a vibrant business sector. You have a very large government who provides a lot of, valuable services. And then you've got an amazing arts community, right? You've got Hollywood, you've got everything there. But the business has to make the money first. Then the government takes the money, that's taxes, and it uses some of it, and then it redistributes some of it, and that goes to the arts community. And then where it doesn't get covered, again, businesses or wealth creators, that's through the nonprofits and everything that they make up the slack. But first, you have to have this vibrant business sector. You were talking about the exodus out of California. For everything California has, they're down over 364,000 people a year leave. And that's like the city of Anaheim picking up and leaving. And it's because the taxes. In California, if you're in the private sector taking all the risk, making all the money, you make about, on average, $70,000 a year. If you're in the public sector, on average, you make twice as much. They pay the public sector employees twice as much. They've got the whole thing inverted in California. That's why everyone's leaving. So it's not just high-profile names like Elon Musk or rock star Gene Simmons that are leaving. Tesla, SpaceX, they're located in Texas. Hewlett-Packard moved to Texas. Everyone knows Microsoft is the world's largest software company, but Oracle is very close at number 2. They've moved to Texas. Digital Realty Trust, biggest commercial realty company in the world, they've moved to Texas. The exodus just keeps going. Pabst, the beer company, they've moved to Texas. It's just crazy, the exodus, because California is just squeezing the 1% out.
I think there's a point when it comes to exaggerated wealth inequality, too. I don't know how you bring that back down. Taxing the top 1%, for example, is so popular, but we can only take so much money out of that particular group, right? How do you solve the issue of exaggerated wealth inequality?
Well, the media has amped that up. The media has grown wealth inequality stories at about 50 times higher than stories on real poverty. And people who have extreme wealth, the majority of them have said, first of all, it's hard to hang on to it, hard to hang on to wealth more than 3 generations. But the majority of them, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, have said, I will give back 99% of my wealth to the society I made it in before they go. And most people start donating as they get later in life. They're using their money to build their company, like Bill Gates did with Microsoft. Then when they're old, they're like, I'm starting a $45 billion save the world, stop malaria, get a vaccine for AIDS fund, right?
Yep.
Jeff Bezos just donated. He was the biggest charitable donation in 2020, $10 billion to fight climate change from Jeff Bezos. As he's getting older, he's starting to make his investments. Elon Musk is younger. It's still going to take a little bit of time, but he just allocated $5.7 billion. And he's aiming it at world hunger, and we'll see how that goes. But, excessive wealth comes back into society. It's just hard to keep.
You can't spend it all as a pro. You can't take it with you, right? That's why. and if you're wired to work all the time, I have friends like that. It's like, well, you're not going to die and leave all this money to your government and kids who are just going to simply take the money and spend it on fun stuff that you didn't do. Derek Bullen, In Defense of Wealth is the name of the book. Thanks again for the time, Derek. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott.
You bet. I've had Derek on in the past, and it's always a good refresher because you're starting to see with the swearing in of Donald Trump, now you're going to hear even more cries about blowing up capitalism and look what it gets you, and it's so unjust and unfair, and yet here we are. And when I see a bumper sticker on a car